While the name may imply that incognito mode is a way to be anonymous on the internet, it's actually not that private without some configuration, and even then you could do a lot better. At best, incognito mode is a convenient way to search for something on Google without having to delete your search history, or if you want to look at a website that is still showing you a cached version on your normal browser. I likely don't really need to tell you this, as it's probably common sense to most of you at this point that incognito mode isn't private, but let's take a few minutes to explore the reasons why, as most folks usually aren't aware of those reasons. For the convenience of everyone watching, I'll be referring to all variations of this from private window to private browsing as incognito mode. Just assume I'm referring to all of them when I call them that. Now, let's get started by talking about what makes it not private, and then we'll cover how to use it safely. No matter how you're receiving your internet connection, you're receiving that connection from an internet service provider. This would be companies like Verizon, AT&T, Comcast, Spectrum, or whoever you pay for your internet bill. These companies generally are capable of seeing your traffic, and many have automated features built into their backends that allow them to detect certain things like pirating media, which may land you a DMCA notice. Stuff like that is often digitally fingerprinted, which allows the ISP to detect them, and you guessed it, report it to law enforcement if it's serious enough. On top of this, if law enforcement have some reason to suspect that you're up to something, they can get a warrant to subpoena your entire web history from your ISP. You've probably heard of cookies before, or even have a decent idea of what they are. To recap for those who may not know, although they sound delicious, cookies are actually small files saved to your computer that are used for a variety of things. Storing login information, tracking visits to websites, even more complex tasks like customizing user experience in the form of trackers. You've probably seen this in the form of personalized advertisements. If you're not familiar with this technique, you can check out my video, How Corporations and Social Media Spy on You, which should be linked on screen now and in the description. As of the time of writing this video, we're starting to see cookies being phased out in favor of server-side tagging, but I felt it's still important to cover them as most websites still use them. Server-side tagging is a bit of a newer technology that claims to seek to be a more private alternative to cookies and is the result of a wide range of privacy laws and regulations that have been created in the last decade or so. The idea here is that websites aren't relying on third-party cookies to collect information. I may have a video going into detail on this method of user activity tracking in the future, but this is a complex topic that gets into legal regulations and variation between industries. The gist is, at the time of writing this video, there is no way to prevent server-side tagging. Maybe in the future there will be, but for now there isn't. Either way, you're now aware this is a thing. DNS, or the Domain Name System, is how your computer and servers resolve the domain that you type into your browser into the IP address associated with the system that you're trying to access. When you access a website, these IP address and domain name connections are stored in temporary files called the DNS Cache. These files could be used to identify websites that you've accessed, even when using incognito mode. Later in this video, we'll be going over how to clear out your DNS cache. Alright, let's say you want to browse for some stuff that you'd rather keep private. Maybe you want to send out an email using a temporary mail service and want there to be nothing tracking back to you. Maybe you just want to read someone's blog without them knowing you were there. All of these are great uses for incognito mode if you use it correctly. If you're looking for a more detailed deep dive on how to secure yourself even more than just using incognito mode, I strongly recommend you check out my video, Private Investigator's Guide to Personal Data Security, OPSEC 101. But for now, there are a few steps we can take to make incognito mode secure enough for general use. Let's get to it. Ad blockers are a critical tool in 2025. There are spammy and malicious ads everywhere, and it's best to just block them outright. On top of that, as I mentioned earlier, those pesky cookies that act as trackers can be blocked with these tools. Most ad blockers these days automatically block the vast majority of these trackers, and you can see this in action by using one and then inspecting the window. With most browsers, you can enable extensions even on incognito mode, and this is one of the few that I would recommend allowing all the time. Now, since this is a monetized channel, I'm somewhat obligated to not tell you to use ad blockers on YouTube. YouTube, and my wallet, would prefer that you whitelist the site and use YouTube Premium to get rid of the ads on their service. That being said, I'm not here to tell you how to live your life, but if you want me to be able to make money from this video, then maybe consider whitelisting YouTube. Virtual private networks are a tool that you'll see me mention in just about every video related to privacy on the internet. These are invaluable tools that snatch back some control over our privacy from our internet service providers and law enforcement. There are a lot of options out there, and not all of them are good, but most of them are fine for general purposes. The key notes you want to hit are no collecting of customer records, kill switches, and good speeds on servers that aren't blacklisted everywhere. Folks get a bit upset when I mention particular VPNs, so do some research before you buy. I'll have a video going into the fine details of VPN providers and services later that will be linked here when it's done. If you've seen my Private Investigator's Guide to Personal Data Security video, then you'll recognize this section. If that's the case, feel free to skip to the next section, which you can find in the chapters or timestamped in the video description. For the rest of you, I have an excerpt from that video, which poses a simple question. Are you familiar with the difference between HTTP and HTTPS? You really should be. HTTP is the traditional way that data is shared across the web. Unencrypted and pretty simple to attack with a man-in-the-middle or similar setup. HTTPS adds in an SSL, or Secure Sockets Layer certificate, which creates a secure encrypted connection between the website server and your browser. With pretty much every browser, you should see a lock icon next to the URL bar. This will show you if the site you're using is using HTTPS or not, and with most browsers, you can click it to see further information about the SSL certificate. HTTPS only mode does exactly what it says on the tin. It tells your browser and websites that you want it to exclusively connect through HTTPS. You can set this up relatively easy on Firefox and Chrome or Chromium-based browsers. For Chrome browsers, go to Settings, Security and Privacy, Security, scroll to the bottom of the page, and then toggle Always Use Secure Connection. For Firefox Desktop, go to Settings, Privacy and Security, scroll to the bottom, and then select Enable HTTPS Only Mode. We've already covered both DNS and HTTPS, so now we get to the point of combining the two of these technologies. This is known as DNS over HTTPS, and it does exactly what it says on the tin. DNS resolving gets encrypted. This can help prevent data leaks that could identify your system if an attacker is dedicated enough about unmasking you. If you use Firefox or Chrome, then you're already using DNS over HTTPS, as it's enabled by default on those browsers. For other browsers, including Chromium-based browsers like Brave, you'll need to enable it yourself through the settings. As I mentioned earlier, the DNS cache essentially is a temporary file that stores information about websites you've visited. Depending on the level of paranoia you want to put into your privacy, you may want to regularly flush out this DNS cache. While this may sound complicated, it's actually pretty easy. Go to your start bar, search for command prompt, and when it opens, type ipconfig /flush DNS and hit enter. That's it. You've cleared your DNS cache. While it is true that browsing in incognito mode won't make you anonymous on the internet, it is a very convenient way to handle certain tasks, and when used correctly, can be considered safe for those purposes. I know for a lot of you this may seem like common sense stuff, but you'd be surprised how many times I've had to explain all of this while working in various IT departments. With that in mind, I think it's important for all of us to refresh the basics on occasion. And hey, if you made it this far in the video, then you're doing exactly that right now. Thank you to everyone for the massive amount of support since starting this channel. More videos are on the way as soon as I can get them done. If you found this video helpful, maybe consider sending it to a family member or friend who could benefit from watching. Subscribe if you're interested in more.